I'm Alaskin, your official Reddit baddie. I scroll through unhinged stories so you can sit back, relax a little, and enjoy the chaos. Not even this crazy heat wave could keep me away from you guys.
I'm melting! Melting!
So let's jump into today's stories. Bridechilla, Bridezilla's evil twin.
Terrified, slightly nervous, scared, a lot of mixed emotions.
I was talking to my flatmate about this and she suggested I post it here. I work in the wedding industry running a wedding flower company. I have been self-employed for 5 years and average 30 to 50 weddings per year. I always get asked if I deal with bridezillas. The answer, yes. But you know who's worse? Bridechillas.
Oh my god! What is that?
It's a term I made up quite early into my career. This is what it's looked like to work with a bridechilla. I love how creative you are. You have a flower shop and then you come up with your own terms. For some reason, I imagine these bridechillas to be a chinchilla with a bridal veil. At the consultation, they are so cool. They don't care. It's just a wedding. No big deal. Totally. Just happy to go with the flow. Hey, they hired the pros for a reason, right? They repeatedly joke that I must love working with someone so not a bridezilla for once.
Yeah, I'm awesome. Take caution.
Oh my god, I must be the most relaxed bride you've ever met. I don't know, somehow it's giving humble bragging when they are not humble at all. Bridechillas get the quote and they love it, but can we change all the mention of pink to lilac? Why didn't they mention lilac and only pink at their consultation? Meh. They just aren't fussed, but now it has to be lilac. That's all good, right? So you do another quote. I have a feeling that all wedding-related things became so expensive because the vendors have to put up with awful attitudes most of the time. So yeah, I'm not even remotely surprised, but wedding culture is insane. Oh, just spoke to mom. Can we add 20 buttonholes and make the bridesmaids bouquet smaller? No more changes, I promise. It's mom, dad, groom, sister, etc. causing them so much grief, never their own indecision or inability to stick to a plan. So you do another quote. Thanks so much for quote 3. Love it. Lock us in. Deposit gets sent, usually paid late. Of course it does. These type of people hate to pay the bills but want maximum quality of services. It's their personality trait, like in Sims. A year to 6 months passes. Now we are a few months out from the wedding. At this time, Bridechilla realizes she has heaps of updates. So bridesmaids' dresses aren't blush anymore. They are navy blue. Can we change the color scheme?
Oh.
No, sweetie, you cannot. It's logged in, it's ordered, it's done. She made this change in dresses probably 3 months ago, but she was so chill about it, didn't think it was a big deal to update me. So you do a new quote. Thanks for quote 4. Why is there a change in price? Because it's a completely new arrangement with different flowers that probably has a different price tag. Oh, and can we change XYZ? So you try to explain that this needs to stop happening. They explain they're totally chill if changes can be made, then no big deal at all. So you write up quote 5. Bridechillas often just never reply either. So it's time for full payment. Invoice is sent. Oh crap, she forgot to mention that 2 months ago she asked another friend to be a bridesmaid as well. So can we make that 6th bridesmaid bouquet? So excited for the big day though. Payment comes in late. If I'm lucky, there'll be no changes come wedding week, but wedding day is always a disaster. This whole process is a disaster. She's usually unprepared and assumed I was throwing in haps, more extras than agreed. Can we normalize not expecting more than what we paid for? For example, Friday just Bean's bride. 2 days before the wedding. Oh hey, can you place some candles for me too? I explained it wasn't usually okay, but it would be if it was just a few. I was assured it was totally chill, just a few candles. It was 130 individually bubble wrapped tea light candle votives, 3 different varieties, all needed to be placed in a pattern, each with 1 centimeter of water at the bottom of the votive. Just a few candles, right? So yeah, vendors most of the time cannot say no, so they just raise the prices. I cannot blame OP because the level of entitlement in this story is insane. It took me an additional 1.5 hours at the venue. Wow, you finished all of that in 1.5 hours? You are a real pro, babe. In conclusion, Bridechillas think they are better than Bridezillas. Their goal is to be a chilled out dream to work with. In reality, I'd rather a Bridezilla any day. I would imagine a Bridezilla to be rude or have a terrible attitude, but at least they wouldn't waste your time. At least they know what the heck they want. Plus, if a Bridezilla acts awful, it's easy and understandable to snap back and tell them their behavior is out of order. But how the F do you tell a client to stop being so relaxed? Haha, anyway, I hope that was interesting. It really was. I love to read your story. It's really interesting to see a wedding from a vendor's perspective. What do you guys think? Do you have any similar experiences? Share your stories in the comments. Am I the a-hole for threatening to elope if my future mother-in-law doesn't stop planning a tacky wedding for me? Absolutely not. I feel like more people should elope.
Yes!
It's your wedding. Do whatever you want. I, 30 female, will be getting married to my fiance, 35 male, in June. Congratulations, bestie. Just some background. I moved from Canada to Ireland to be with my fiance. My entire family lives in Canada and my parents are elderly and in poor health. I left my job in Canada and can't work in Ireland until after I get my visa, which can't happen until after I get married. My fiance has a good job, but money is still tight. On to the drama. My fiance and I were planning on a simple ceremony at the register office and then dinner with the family afterwards. We were planning on having a big wedding in Canada next year once my visa is approved and I'm working. Sounds very reasonable to me. It's important to note that my parents are unable to travel due to their health and my future in-laws can and do travel abroad several times a year. That is a super important detail. I already know they gonna whine about the fact that they have to travel to Canada. Also, we live in the same city as my future in-laws, but my fiance owns his own home. As soon as I arrived, my future mother-in-law starts making wedding plans.
Don't do it.
My fiance has 4 siblings, 2 sisters and 2 brothers, but none of them are married. One of his sisters does have a young daughter. Well, my future mother-in-law tells me it's the first time one of her children to get married and it needs to be special. It will be special. Your son find the love of their life. She starts by telling me we need to marry in the church her and her husband were married.
How about no?
I tell her I'm not comfortable with that since I'm on a different faith. You should convert too, I guess, because she said so. She goes to tell me we need to have a proper reception so the whole family can be there. The whole family? What about your parents? I wanted to make her happy, so we agreed to a small reception. We explained we don't have the money to afford anything extravagant. I was also uncomfortable having a big wedding without my family there, which is why we were planning a large wedding in Canada next year. She said that would be unfair to her family because her other children didn't have the money to travel abroad and some of them didn't have passports. Right. This is why you have the smaller ceremony first. By the way, she wasn't offering to pay for anything. On to the tech. Every Sunday we had dinner at her home and she would tell me all these ideas she had. She insisted her granddaughter must be the flower girl, her daughters had to be bridesmaids, her sons needed to be groomsmen. We told her we were just having a simple ceremony at the register office.
Not on my watch.
She said we could do a wedding walk at the reception. She suggested venues that were out of budget, which we told her. She asked her friend if we could use their manor for the reception, and they agreed but still wanted to charge us quite a bit. We never agreed to this, but future mother-in-law said she already promised her friend. Okay, and how is that any of your problem? Future father-in-law agreed to pay for the manor. Why don't they just throw a party there? Because this doesn't sound like your wedding, it sounds like their event. We wanted to compromise, so we agreed to a small reception at the manor. However, every suggestion I made was shot down. I wanted my colors to be purple and black. Future mother-in-law said that was too dark, bad luck, and not flattering on her daughters, and purple was not an appropriate color to make a man wear. We should do red and green to match the venue. I wanted daisies, my mom's favorite flower. She said daisies were childish and we had to have roses because her middle name is Rose and it's tradition. How is it a tradition when this is the first wedding because none of her kids are married yet? I suggested roses and daisies and she said they don't go together.
Shut up!
My fiance and I told her that a lot of her ideas were way out of our price range. On to her brilliant money-saving ideas. She went to those cheap online shops with nice pictures that sent paper dresses and plastic garbage. She thought I should get my dress and all the decorations from these cheap shops. She sent me listings for hideous dresses, platty shoes, ugly press-on nails, dingly flowers. Why don't she save these excellent ideas for her own daughter's weddings? I'm sure they would love them.
This is very funny.
She suggested I spend the week leading up to the wedding making all the food.
What? What the f?
Who would want to cook for their own wedding if that wasn't their plan? Even to suggest that to someone is crazy. The final straw was when she took her daughters and granddaughter to an actual bridal shop to pick out dresses and shoes. Oh, so they shouldn't wear hideous dresses. Only you as the bride. Hilarious. Your mother-in-law is out of her goddamn mind. Just go and elope. She arranged a spa day for them all to have their hair and nails done. I wasn't invited because I would be busy making all the food. Future mother-in-law said she would pay for her daughter's dresses, shoes, and spa day, and I could pay her back after the wedding.
Stop it. Get some help.
Are you sure it's even worth to get married into this family? Because the situation will get worse if your future husband won't step up. At this point, I was fuming, as was my fiancé. At least that's good. It would be scarier if he wouldn't be on your side. We told her we would not be going ahead with any of her plans. We would be going to the register office as originally planned. Future mother-in-law was not happy.
Womp womp.
She said she had already made all these plans and paid for the venue.
Karma's a
We told her that was too bad. She demanded we pay her for the money she and future father-in-law paid for the venue. We told her no, she could still use the venue for whatever she wanted. I love that reaction. I guess there is still hope for your marriage. Am I wrong for backing out after future mother-in-law made all these plans? No, of course you are not. I would be very angry right now if you would have done the things she expected you to do. Cooking for your own wedding, that's crazy. Wearing a hideous dress while she and her daughters got outfits from an actual bridal shop is insane. I love that you and your husband distance yourself from this actual mess. People should get married on their own terms. I hope you guys enjoyed today's stories. If you did, don't forget to subscribe. Leave your thoughts in the comments. I reply them all. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.